right, race fans, welcome back. It's round one in Woodstock, Ontario here for the Flat Track Canada Nationals. Now, before we kick things off and make our way around the pits, we just want to say we got a lot of new faces this year coming to Flat Track Canada. A lot of kids moving up in the ranks, so we're going to do our best to cover everybody that we possibly can. So sit back and enjoy the ride. Round one's coming to you, and we're getting sideways. Aaron's got everybody and all the new faces at the riders meeting. We're going to make our way down into the pits and go catch up with last year's champion, Doug Lawrence.
All right, race fans, welcome to round one out here in Woodstock. I'm standing here with none other than the #1 champion from last year, Doug Lawrence. Doug, what have you done in the offseason to get ready for today? And taking a look around the pits, competition's looking pretty stiff.
Yeah, it always is. It's a typical offseason, I guess. Just going over the bikes and stuff, lots of maintenance on these Harleys to have them ready for the year, and trying to prepare myself, and just trying the 6 Ps. I live by the 6 Ps. Proper preparation prevents poor performance. So just trying to be prepared. You know, here we are round one, and the schedule's already changed. We're racing on Sunday instead of Saturday. So just trying to be ready and just be consistent all year and do the best we can.
Now, my guess is you're not going to be doing too much AMA Grand National stuff. You're going to be kind of sticking around up here in Canada to defend that #1 plate?
True. Yeah, true. This year is a bit different. The American schedule is pretty, lots of traveling, lots of races on the West Coast. So I'll be able to hit the big ones, a couple Springfields, the X Games. COTA was a few weeks ago, so as well as Rapid City, South Dakota. So.
All right, Doug, and last but not least, who are all the people that you want to thank for helping you out this year?
Teamed up with Parts Canada this year. Big thanks to them. Besides that, usual suspects, you know, longtime sponsors, Town Moto, John Briggs Motorsports, my old man spinning the wrenches. Once again, Parts Canada, Alpine Stars, HJC helmets, One Speed Chop Shop. My friend Trevor's helped me out a lot and is building a lot of stuff for flat trackers these days. So big thanks to him.
All right, so that #1 plate holder, Doug Lawrence, going to be defending his title this year in the 2016 season.
All right, it's our favorite time. It's time for the Hot Lap, brought to you by Wascam. I'm going to give you the great honor of taking you around Woodstock half mile here. As you can see already, we're already out into the deep cushion here. This is going through practice. This track, you know, later on throughout the day, it's going to break up a little bit more. You're going to find a lot of the guys struggling to go inside, outside, outside, inside. It's going to be deep. It's going to get really crazy. So I'm down here. I'm running that inside line. You can see where it's already starting to smooth out just a little bit more. And that just seems to be like a quick little line as long as you're nice and smooth with your throttle. So you're coming down the front straightaway here. We're going to be crossing the line at a 31:03, but expect those times to drop.
All right, something we always like to see here, the American riders coming up to the Canadian circuit. Standing here with none other than 19B of Justin Jones. Justin, having a pretty good season so far down in the AMA Grand National. Took second in Daytona. You know, what's it like coming up here to Canada and exploring this atmosphere?
It's actually, it's kind of like home. It's not a long ride for me. I'm only 3 hours away from here. It's just a hop across the border and see a bunch of familiar faces that come down to the States and have fun.
Well, obviously, we got rained out yesterday. They did a ton of prep work on the track. They kind of dried it up. The wind's kind of playing a little bit of a factor here today. How does that affect you?
Really don't affect me much, but it does affect the track in ways. It dries it out faster. Hopefully they can put some water down and keep the dust down today, and it should be good.
All right, Justin, now obviously you got a ton of people helping you out, so give a quick shout out and give some love out to all those sponsors.
Oh yeah, I gotta say big thanks to RLJ Racing. He does all my motors. They run great. Definitely couldn't be doing it without him. Elder Trucking, Taking the Face Racing, Hullink Motorsports, Bell, Works Connection, Motion Pro, Saddleman Seats. All them guys helped me out so much. Thanks, I appreciate it, and I look forward to working with you guys in the future.
Okay, so that 19B coming up here to mix things up in Canada. Keep an eye out for him out on the track in the Expert Open and the Expert DTX race classes.
There's going to be a hot new topic this year with all the young guns like Tyler Seguin switching up to the KTM Dave Waters Auto Body team. Brody Buchan still riding for the KBR team. He's the young protege. We got Justin Jones coming up in the mix, who we just spoke to earlier. He's going to be shaking things up. And let's not forget about Dave Pouliot, the Quebec rider, coming down to the Flat Track Canada Series as well. All right, it's time to get psyched up. We got our first race of the season, the DTX Intermediate class. We got 12 riders on the line. A couple of new faces coming in here. The hot new rookies of Dustin Brown, the number 91 machine. We're going to be joined by his brother, 119, next weekend there in Paris. We got Trent Pickle, the number 98 machine. Trent's been running a lot more down in the States, you know, getting a lot more training time, seat time on the bike. So he's doing a great job already this season, just fitting in real nice, running mid-pack. Other than that, you know, we got returning riders like Dallas Daniels and Morgan Monroe making their way back. You can see I'm struggling at the back of the pack here, trying to shake off all the rust from all that winter sitting around. So first lap leading us around, it's going to be the number 91 machine, the rookie of Dustin Brown, followed by the number 112 machine of Cody Marintet, followed by Dallas Daniels and Morgan Monroe. You know, a lot of these guys really improving their speeds on these half miles. It's getting really great. The intermediate class is getting right filled up with a lot of great riders. So the second lap around, just going to fast forward a bit here. We got Dustin Brown still leading us around the track. Cody Marintet doing everything he can to hold on to that second place, with, you know, Morgan and Dallas just nipping on his heels right behind him. So heading back down into corner 3-4 here. Still the same thing going on, but we got another good little battle for fifth place going on there between Trent Pickle and Jody Christie. Jody, a former road racer, pro road racer from the CSBK series, he's made a full-time commitment to come over to the KBR race team and, you know, to jump into this intermediate class and do battle with a lot of these guys that, you know, have been in here for a couple of years, and a lot of the new faces. So Cody Marintet leading the charge around for lap 4. We can see Dustin Brown is nowhere in sight. We actually discovered later on that he had some throttle cable issues. Something popped off, and it just totally shut the bike down. So you can see him on the fence line there as we go by. But Cody Marintet doing a great job, looking smooth as ever, still holding out up front there with Morgan Monroe. Fast forward to the final lap, going into corner 3 and 4. Morgan trying to make an outside line pass here, maybe cut down on Cody, but I don't think it's going to be enough. As they come around on a lapped rider of Tom Goodford, Cody just jumps down to the inside, kind of stuffs the line away from Morgan, and Cody's going to take our first DTX Intermediate race of the season. We're going to commercial break. We'll be right back. Okay, it's time for the DTX Expert class. We got 9 riders on the line here, and you can see right down on the inside there's that number 49 machine of Brody Buchan. Brody making his Expert debut last year there, and, you know, he's fitting into the class really well so far. So Tyler Seguin leading the charge around, but we got that rider down. It was Don Taylor, so we have a red flag restart. So right off the bat, Don's way in the back. You know, he's going to be having his work cut out for him. as all these riders dive bomb into the first corner 1 and 2 there. It is Tyler Seguin on the KTM Waters Auto Body KTM bike, but Brody Buchan putting up a fight of his own, you know, showing the guy, you know, I'm still hanging around here, heading back down the back straightaway here, going into corner 3 and 4. It's a little bit of a mosh pit with all these guys dive bombing into this corner. So coming around and lap 1 here, Brody got ahead for just a second there, but Tyler's going to shut the door and start taking off on that KTM. Lap 1, Tyler Seguin brings us across the line, heading back in and out into corner 1. We got Brody Buchan sitting in second, Justin Jones, who we spoke to earlier, the American rider, sitting in third, and then behind him, you know, we got guys like Dave Pouliot, Nick Wensler, and you know, everybody else is just right there. Sean Hoy just rounding out the edge of the field there, still hanging in there, not too far off a pace. Don Taylor's already made his way up to third from that third row start off that red flag restart, so you know Don's going to be hungry for getting up there and trying to get a win. So Buchan, you know, kind of surprising everybody, getting up ahead of Tyler Seguin here. Seguin's pushing him out to the outside a little bit, so you can expect Buchan, he's going to be diving down, but he left the door open too long. Don kind of slides in there. Buchan's cutting down to that inside line. That's kind of a famous little line that he takes. He goes out a little bit wide, dives in. He kind of shuts the door on Don as he gets a good drive heading back down into corner 1 here. Tyler Seguin still leading the field, but now it looks like Don Taylor, the 53 machine on that Sail Racing Yamaha, he's going to be mixing things up here with the KBR Honda of Brody Buchan as they head back down into the corner 3-4 here. These guys are getting close. Brody getting into the back tire. You don't want to be crossing over too much into him there. You don't want to be high-siding off the bike at these speeds because it's going to hurt. So Brody just plays it smart, backs off a little bit and backs up. You know, he'll start reeling Don back in, and you know, he'll have his work cut out for him. But you know, it's better to get a couple points than no points. So you can see Tyler Seguin, he's gone backwards a little bit there. He's going to be battling it out with Justin Jones, that 19B rider. As we continue on our race here, you know, the onboard footage, Brody's a great supporter of always sending us back all the footage. So, you know, it's great to, you guys are going to be seeing a perspective of what it's like from a rookie rider like Brody Buchan here, who's actually just given the gears to Don Taylor. Don's actually answering back. He's going to be pushing them back out to that outside line there. Don and Brody running a race of their own. These guys are just battling out. Seguin comes up out of nowhere. Justin Jones kind of following him up. Probably we're getting a little bit of a draft going, pushing each other. Heading back down to the corner 3 and 4. Seguin goes down on the inside of Buchan here. He's going to be drawing a bead here on Don Taylor really quick. But it's Buchan who answers back, goes right down, right to the edge of the grass, gets past Seguin, and then now he's got his mind set on catching up back up to Don Taylor here before Don gets too far ahead. Seguin doing everything he can to hold off on that inside line. Buchan getting that great drive off the corners there. You know, he's a lightweight kid, so he's going to make that engine work to his advantage as he starts pulling off all of these corners. So the top 5 riders, we got Justin Jones sitting in 4th, Dave Pouliot sitting in 5th. You know, these guys have already started to break away from the rest of the pack, but it's anyone's game with these top 5 riders. So fast forward lap 8 here. We got Pouliot battling it out for that 4 spot with Justin Jones. You know, he's going to be doing everything that he can to grab some extra points here. Pouliot, you know, fitting in real nice into this in the expert class here with the Flat Track Canada Series. Buchan now getting by Taylor. Taylor coming back down on the inside, stuffing Buchan right out to the fence line. Oh boy, Buchan's going to have his work cut out for him here as we got 2 laps to go. Buchan drives that high line. Here he comes. He's going to be diving down to that inside. Don gets a little sloppy up on the high side, loses a bit of his traction, gets out, get out of whack there, and then Buchan's going to be making that line work out for him real great as he gets that drive back down the back straightaway, back into corner 3 and 4. You know, Don's got to get going here. He doesn't want to let Buchan get too far ahead of him as these top 2 riders have already now broken away from the rest of the pack. So anyone's game between these 2 riders. Anyone makes a small mistake here, you know, it's something you can capitalize on. It's going to take a lot of patience on Don's part, you know, if he wants to catch Buchan here. Pouliot's made the move up to 3rd place. He's got past Seguin. Seguin's going to be going down on that inside line. Let's see if Pouliot gets a good drive. Dave gets a great drive out of corner 4 there. And it's going to be Brody Buchan taking the win here, followed by Don Taylor and Dave Pouliot. Commercial break. We'll be right back. Okay, time for our second last race of the day. You can see Caitlin going across the line there with our starter car. We got the open intermediate class of 11 riders. Heading off the line, everybody but myself. I stalled on the line, so I'm going to be going right to the back of the pack and getting very little points. But you can see everybody's already in the mix here. Cody Marintet doing a great job jumping up out front. It looks like Dallas Daniels out there on the outside. Morgan Monroe going down the inside of Marintet. Everybody's getting a great drive off down that back straightaway. Leading around lap 1, it's looking like Daniels and Monroe, followed up by Marintet still. You know, these top 3 guys, they've been battling it out all day. Don't count Dustin Brown out. You know, that guy's going to be setting a beat on going to catch up with all these leaders, make up for, you know, that mechanical failure that he had earlier in the day. Brown's up on that outside line there. Takes over the 4th spot. I believe that would be Trent Pickle. Kind of hard to see from here, but you can see Marintet and Monroe battling it out. Dallas Daniels trying to keep nice and smooth up there on that outside line, doing everything he can. Brown's going to that outside line as well too. Everybody's going to be bringing it right back down around to this front straightaway there. It's starting to get a little bit dusty. Yeah, you'd be surprised how much this track had actually dried out because of the first day that we were out there. You know, it was a full-out rain date, and the FTC crew worked around the clock to get this track ready for the following day as part of our rain date. So, you know, Dustin Brown working that outside line around Monroe. Monroe's not giving it to him easy, making him work for it. So here comes Dustin Brown, finally getting around Monroe. Dallas Daniels leading the pack still. Marintet followed up in 2nd. Brown in 3rd. Monroe in a close 4th. These guys keep working, and Marintet coming out of corner 2 on lap 3 here. He's taking over the lead over Dallas Daniels. Now Marintet's got to do his own to hold off the rest of this field here, but Dustin Brown seems to be inching his way up every single lap. Dallas Daniels doing a great job. He's a smaller rider, but, you know, the kid really throws his weight around on the bike, does a great job of, you know, keeping on pace with all these guys. Dallas taking a huge outside line. Going to be diving down on the inside of Marintet, I believe, here. Just not enough drive as Marintet pulls off that corner, coming back down the back straightaway here. Dallas still on that outside line. Marintet, there you guys. These guys are going side by side, bar to bar action here. And Dustin Brown again still inching his way up. So it's anyone's game here, anyone's guess of what's going to be going on as we come around to complete lap 5 here. Dallas still working the outside. Monroe sitting in 4th, and then the battle for 5th and 6th. It looks like Tim Wells and Jody Christie. Jody just able to squeeze by as they head back down that back straightaway there with Tim Wells. Ryan Wells, his little brother. You know, Ryan Wells, quite the common guy to come up here every once in a while and shake things up in our expert class. Great guy, great family. We love having them around. So lap 6, we have Marintet, I believe, still leading out front. Dustin Brown, you know, closing the gap on everybody else here. Lap rider goes to the inside, moves out of the way. As we come back down into corner 3-4 here, Monroe has now closed the gap on Dallas Daniels. So we might have 2 ongoing battles going on here as we wind down our laps. Monroe making an inside line pass on Dallas Daniels. Dallas going out wide again. He kind of gave up that line. Morgan's made the smart move of driving down on the inside, kind of blocking off the line away from him. Heading back down the back straightaway again. Cody Marintet, Dustin Brown. These guys are still ahead. Morgan looks like she's getting some bike lengths over Dallas Daniels. We're going to be running out of time here pretty soon for these guys to start making some bold moves to get up and catch that leader, the number 112. Lap number 8, we come around. Still the same order. The rest of the pack seemed to have fallen off pace and drifted back. But that Jody Christie, he's got by Tim Wells there. And he's going to be holding down that 5th place and making up some good points. So Dustin Brown getting a really good drive coming out of corner 2 there. Catching up on the outside of Marintet, doing everything he can, working him. And Dustin Brown just sticking a tire ahead of him there for only a moment. You can see a couple of the other riders coming through here in the corner. There's Bentley Thistleweight on his custom SV650 bike that he built. Yes, he hand-built his own bike, and he's brought that thing out here. It's great to see these kind of things. So Dustin Brown now taking the lead over Marintet and starting to break away. I don't think there's going to be too much left in the gas tank for Marintet, as Dustin, you know, is a young kid. He's going to be full of vinegar as he starts making his way around the track here. So the rest of the riders start coming around the corners here too. You can see the pace is falling off for everybody else, but it seems like Dustin Brown, he's got something going on in here that's working for him. He's found himself a nice line. Top 5 riders all within about quarter of a corner within the leader, but Dustin now inching his way, footing his way, getting ahead of everybody else. Not too much else is going to be changing unless somebody gets a dramatic drive out of one of these corners, start getting a draft going and catching somebody else. But Dustin Brown coming around for that final lap, getting that white flag. He's coming up on 2 lap riders. That looks like Bentley Thistleweight on his custom SV650. Dustin getting a little sloppy there. Not enough slop to let Marintet catch up, but doing his own thing here. He's catching up to Dustin Lambert as he's starting to make his way around the lap riders. You know, it's pretty sensational for a rookie kid to come up and already set the pace like this. So Dustin Brown, he's going to be taking first place here in the Open, followed by Marintet and Morgan Monroe. Commercial break. Be right back. All right, it's that time of the day. It's the last race of the day, the Open Expert race. We got a grid of 12 riders. Everybody taking off here. Steve Beatty getting out ahead quick. No jump called, so Steve's okay. Steve and Don, they're going to be getting into each other a little bit here between corner 1 and 2. Tyler Seguin up on the outside line on that Waters Auto Body KTM. Super Duke hopping on board here with Steve Beatty, the number 26 machine. Onboard footage brought to you, as always, by Wascam. Steve Beatty getting out, almost out into the hay bales there. Tyler Seguin and him, they had kind of nowhere to go. Steve checks up, you know, lets these guys go by. You know, Steve's going to be working these guys hard. The 26 suspension leader, Frank Fit crew master for all the health benefits that these guys get into shape working these big bikes around the track. So Don already out ahead by quite a bit. Doug and Steve sitting in second and third. They both work a little bit of a draft going down the back straight there and start catching up to our leader, Don Taylor, the 53 machine, out on a 600 single against these XR 750s. You can see Steve making short work of these straightaways on that 750. Don kind of gets the upper hand here in the corners with that bike being a little bit lighter, but you're going to watch these guys get a good strong drive coming out of these corners here. But I think the story is back in 4th place there is Brody Buchan on that KBR 450 framer. I don't know what it is about these bikes that Kurt makes, but somehow, some way, they work to keep up with these Harleys. So Steve Beatty leading the charge, bringing us around to lap number 3. 3 of 15, of course. Don sitting there on that inside line of Steve. He's going to do everything he can to stick his nose in there. Steve shuts the door on him, starts taking off down the back straightaway. Brody and Doug, by other means here, you know, these two guys, you got the youngest rookie in the class, and then you got last year's champion. These guys are going to be duking it out a little bit more too. Chris Evans, Dave Pouliot follow up. These other 2 riders here. We got Buchan on that 450 getting by Doug Lawrence on that XR 750. Buchan, he's working these lines. There's something about this kid that he has figured out how to get around these tracks a little bit faster and keep up with these guys. So Steve, John just ahead of him. We got a homeboard foot from Brody Buchan. Always doing a great job setting in his clips to Outlaw Production so we can get this up. Steve out front, followed up by Don and Doug, still chasing him down. Brody Buchan just hanging in there, going to be working, trying to work a little bit of a draft off of Doug so he can keep up with these big bikes. Kind of underpowered, but somehow he's just keeping up with them. So Doug kind of almost getting into the back of Don Taylor there. Don starting to square up, get a good drive going, coming out of the corner here. Continuing on to lap number 8. Don and Doug both kind of taken up into a high side line. Buchan on the inside. Doug gets loose. Oh, over the bars. Hands were off the bars. Somehow he stayed on the bike. Still in 4th place. Already back on the pace. Getting that throttle up on that XR 750. Don making a move on the inside of Steve here. Bucking coming up out of nowhere, tucking in behind Steve. So now our top 3 riders starting to break away from everybody else. Doug's got to get a move on if he wants to get back into this race because he's running out of time. Don starts coming around the lapped rider of 46 of Sean Hoy there from Kitchener, Ontario. Not too far of a trip for these guys. Don coming into corner 3 there. Steve taking a high line. Bucking sitting there on the inside. Bucking now just working these lines behind these experienced riders. He's going to be trying to probably take notes on them, see what they got for him. Doug already way up to pace, starting to come back into our picture frame here. Somehow managed to save his day by not going off of his bike. Don and Steve dive bombing into the corners here. Bucking just kind of hanging back just a little bit. Being, I don't know, maybe just holding back for the last couple of laps maybe. Not overexerting himself. Don and Steve still taking 1-2. Brody sitting in 3rd. Doug's going to be coming up on the heels of Bucking really quick if he doesn't get going. But Steve finds a line, gets a good drive, gets a good bead going here on Don down the back straightaway. Steve going for the pass on the inside in corner 3 here. Gets a little bit loose. Out to the outside. Don makes another move there onto the inside of him. So Steve's going to try and come shut the door back down on him. Going back down corner 1 here. These guys come across the line neck and neck. We're on lap 12. We got 3 to go. Steve pushes Don wide. Don trying to stick his nose back into the door. Steve shuts it on him. Now Steve's starting to break away from this pack. Bucking now getting passed by Doug. I don't think Bucking's going to be liking this one, so he's going to go down on that inside line there, get ahead of Doug because Doug had to run him hard down into corner 3. Bucking gets back ahead of Doug, but Doug using that 750 power, getting back ahead of Bucking. Bucking's got this upper hand because he's got the lightest bike in the field. Bucking doing everything that he can to stay ahead of the #1 champion, but here he comes again. Doug coming back up. I don't know if we got a battle for 1st or a battle for 2nd and 3rd, 4th. Who knows what it is? This is anybody's game. These guys are all pretty close. It looks like Don's catching up to Steve a little bit here. They come across the bar neck and neck. Steve and Don battling it out for the lead. Doug and Brody just sitting back there behind them. Brody back ahead of Doug. Doug catching back up to Brody. We got Steve going deep and high up into corner 3 here. He's going to be trying to do everything that he can to get around Don. He's got to cut down. He's got to get down on the inside of him, get a good strong drive coming out of the corner here, and he does, and he's going to be taking the win here in our Open Expert final. Doug squeezing by with that power of that XR750. So Steve Beatty taking 1st, Don 2nd, Doug 3rd, going to commercial break. We'll be right back with our post-race interviews.
Taking that 3rd spot here today in the Open Expert race is none other than Doug Lawrence. Doug, crazy day, had snow in the morning, still really cold outside here today, only in Canada. Tell us about that race.
My day was crazier than anyone else's here. It's had some trouble through practice and jumped the start in the heat race. And basically just tried to forget the whole day and needed a good start, got a good start, and so proud of myself, man. These guys were flying all day, and kept telling myself that I won here last year, and I do not like racetracks like this. And man, I dug so deep. I think I could have won the thing. Dude, I let go. I was so close to crashing over there. I'd already written the thing off. I was laying on the handlebars and one hand on the bars and rode it out. But man, I was gobbling those guys up 5 bike lengths a lap. Had thoughts of trying to make it another effort to go for it again, but you know what? I kind of took the good with the bad. 3rd place was good enough today. You know, I think it's going to be us 3 all year. So 3rd was good enough today.
All right, well, give a quick shout out and give some love to all those sponsors, always helping you out.
Yeah, big thanks to my dad today, man. We turned this thing upside down and inside out before the main event. And new sponsor of mine, Parts Canada, HAC helmets, Alpine Star leathers and boots, West Coast hot shoes, Motion Pro, Vortex, One Speed Chop Shop. I think it's about it.
All right, taking that third spot out here in Woodstock today, Doug Lawrence. Okay, out here on that 53 machine, taking the second spot out here today, Don, that was one heck of a race. Tell us about it.
Yeah, you know, I was hoping, my plan going into the main was to try and grab the whole shot and, you know, just get out front and, you know, try and run with it and hope the other guys kind of get tied up in traffic. But, you know, Steve got off the hole in front of me, and Tyler was up there on the KTM, and, you know, it was just, for a bit there, I thought he was going to run away with it because I just couldn't seem to find a line to help me gain any time. So, you know, I think kind of just kept pushing. I'm like, you know what, it's a long race, and, you know, maybe he'll make a mistake. And, you know, sure enough, I was able to kind of itch up there and, you know, grab some positions and take the lead for a bit there. And, you know, it was just, I was struggling getting down the straightaway faster than Steve. You know, being on the 600 single cylinder CC bike, it's got its advantages. A little lighter, but, you know, I was definitely, I felt at a disadvantage when he'd go blowing by me every straightaway when I was in the lead. So unfortunately my Harley broke last night prepping for today, so we're going to be on the 600 for a while this year, and you know, just going to make the best of it.
All right, well, got to give some love out to those sponsors, always helping you out.
Yeah, I got to give a huge thanks to Jim Sale for always putting good bikes under me, and new sponsor this year, I'm with Moto Vans, so give them a huge thanks for you know, stepping up to support me this year, and always a huge thanks to Flat Track Canada for giving us an awesome series, and, you know, it's going to be a good year.
All right, so taking that second spot out here in the round one in Woodstock today, Don Taylor. And taking that number one spot out here today, none other than Steve Beatty, the 26 machine. Steve, what an amazing race, an up and down kind of day. We had snow in the morning, and tell us about that.
Freezing cold. Got my Harley back running for once. It's been 2 years in the shop, broken, so that's fun as hell. Amazing race with Dougie and Donnie. And yeah, like, I know it was cool for me. It must have been even cooler for you guys watching. But you know, it's been a while since I've been on a race bike, and man, just the whole race day jitters a little bit with me, and it's uncommon. But I worked through it and relaxed, and had a couple glitches with the Harley the last few laps there, but still gathered it back up, caught Donnie, passed him again, and brought her to the checkers.
Well, we're going to be seeing all that footage with our onboard WASP camera that we had on top of here. All right, well, obviously, quick shout out, show some love to all those sponsors.
Yeah, you know, Kurt Beeger's always behind me. I rode my bike today, but, you know, it's always there when I'm ready. Shoei Helmets, Rocky's Harley Davidson, they've always kind of helped me. Dealey Harley Davidson as well. Shoei Helmets, So Clean Oils, and 26 Suspension.
Okay, so that number one spot and taking the points early in this season, Steve Beatty.